Hi guys, this is Vincent Njao from Vince Fitness team. We have a new show, we call it the Vince Fitness Podcast, and our aim is to educate, inform, and entertain our clients. This podcast is client-centric. Our aim is to empower and help the clients because we believe there is a huge gap between clients, fitness, and trainers. So we want to clarify for you to know what you need and what you don't need. Basically, is breaking down your goals and making it easier for you as you pursue fitness and health. Welcome to the Vince Fitness Podcast, and our guest today is Antony Gachau again. We are doing another episode on weight loss and weight gain. Our aim was to do a nutrition part, but nutrition is broad, so we'll see what we can cover in due time. But today's podcast, we are going to cover weight loss and weight gain, because we've realized that very few people can differentiate between weight gain and fat loss. So we need to make it clear so that even if you're training, you need to understand what you want to lose, so that don't compromise your health because you want to lose just for basically losing weight. So Antony Gachau, fitness expert again, welcome to the podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself again?
For sure, man.
Okay.
Thank you for having me on your podcast once again. I said I'll never get tired of showing up, sharing information and making
knowledge.
Making sure the right information is what is out there. So your customers ask for it, your audience ask for it, they get it as many times as they want me back here. I'll always be back here to explain the concept.
Yes.
So let's get started.
Yeah, let's go. So our aim, guys, it's always to educate, inform, entertain. So the goal is to make sure our clients and any fitness enthusiasts, you have the knowledge. As you pursue fitness, you have the knowledge, you know what to do, and you know what to eat. So our first question today was, Anto, what is the difference between fat loss and weight loss?
So weight loss, fat loss, those are terms that are thrown around in the industry, and they tend to be generalized and but the baseline is weight loss. So the body is made up of majorly three things: water, muscle mass, and bones. So with weight loss, it means you could be losing any of that. Remember, as you age, your bone density, the bone density of your bones tends to wither a bit, or maybe reduce. That might contribute to weight loss. Maybe anytime you are losing water, maybe you are taking a piss, you are sweating in the gym, you are also losing weight. Anytime you go to the gym with the aim of burning maybe fat, when you look at the scale, over time, you will lose weight. So weight loss is the baseline. But now, there is fat loss. Now, fat loss is a very strategic and a process that takes time, and it only targets the fat that your body has stored. Remember, your body can only store two things: glucose in the form of glycogen. Glycogen, it means there's a chain of glucose molecules connected together and then stored in your muscle cells. Number two, if your body has stored enough glucose in the body cells now, and still has free roaming glucose molecules in the blood, where does it store them next? It converts them into triglycerides and stores them on the liver. And if the liver is full of the triglycerides, it goes to the next part, which is the abdominal area. That's why anytime a person is gaining fat or maybe storing fat that they intend to lose later, it's normally stored here on the belly, upwards, all the way up. Yeah. So with fat loss, it is the process of putting the body under the right conditions now to convert the fat that was stored in the body back to energy, so that you can gain maybe your best physique back or something. So fat loss is calculated, it is strategic, it takes time, and if you mean it, you will lose the fat for sure.
So basically, fat loss is where you choose to retain the muscle.
Yes.
And
course, yes.
Minerals, everything. You retain the good things, then you lose the fat.
The fat only.
Or fat only.
Yes.
So when it comes to weight loss, weight loss meaning you're losing everything, which is not healthy, right?
With weight loss, you can lose anything. You can lose the 3 parts that majorly make the body: water, muscle mass, stroke fat, and bones.
So, Anto, maybe what are the 2 most basic things you've heard guys are doing, and they end up losing, being in a weight loss condition? What 2 we can name? Maybe our audience can try and avoid such tactics or such approaches where you're doing weight loss instead of fat loss.
Okay.
So some of the things guys are doing,
yes,
that leads to weight loss.
Yeah, when people go to the gym, you normally people here, they say they want to tone. Some of them, that's the layman's language of saying, I want to lose fat and maybe get into shape, into my best shape. Now, in the process, sometimes people tend to miscalculate, and they will see very, very dynamic drop of weight on the scale, but their body composition is not changing. So some of the mistakes that people do, one of them is to think that running on the treadmill or wasting time on the cardio machines will help you lose fat. No. You see? The second mistake people do is filling the body with the unnecessary foods immediately after their workout. And by the unnecessary foods, I mean foods that contribute to your body having glucose. Do you understand? The body normally burns fat 24 to 48 hours after workout. That's when the body burns fat. When you're working out, you're normally using the glycogen, the fuel that the body had stored earlier, maybe 12 hours away back in your cells. That's normally the time when you're using the glycogen. So when you're in the gym, up to 45 minutes, 60 minutes, you normally haven't even depleted the glycogen in your cells. So you've not burned even a single fat cell in your body.
Okay.
So people need to put their body under enough stress so that they can remain in an aerobic state for the 24 to 48 hours later.
Okay.
So mistake number 1, doing so much cardio, it's unnecessary. Yes.
Okay.
People should focus on the right thing, doing the compound movements, moving your muscles. Number 2, making sure that they have the right nutrition post-workout.
Okay.
Yes.
What would you recommend, the right nutrition post-workout?
Post-workout, I'll recommend a very high protein and high fat diet.
To replace the muscle that has been broken down.
Yes, you need the protein so that your body can, because immediately after workout, the moment your body, now it's like the body has sensed that you have done your workout and you're done. So the body, your parasympathetic system takes you off that fight or fright response, and now it releases relaxation hormones. It takes you back to a state of, now you are rested
and repair.
Now you need nutrition to repair your tone muscles.
Tone muscles, yeah.
Yes, of course. While you are working out, blood was moving very fast through your blood vessels. Now remember, your blood vessels are like a road. When vehicles use a road, they create potholes. We need to repair those potholes in your blood vessels. What is used to repair? It's cholesterol. So you need cholesterol from there. Of course, your body produces enough cholesterol, and it produces it from maybe what you eat. Yeah. So you need the good fat. The good fat is fat that comes from avocado, nuts,
eggs.
Yeah, of course, eggs and animal fat for sure, and maybe dairies. Dairies also have a good fat, but I don't like getting my fat from the dairies.
Okay.
I normally ask people, focus getting your fat from olive oil, animal fat, and avocado.
Okay.
And if you go, you can snack also with the nuts.
Okay.
So a high protein diet, high fat diet. If you want to do carbohydrates, make sure it's starch and it's a very small amount
Okay.
of starchy food.
That's also
Not ugali. You know, people tend to take ugali after workout.
yeah.
That's very
Not
that
advisable.
ugali gives you sugar that is so available to your body.
Oh.
So it will be stored, it will be accessed and stored so fast in your
What about
body.
oats? Even oats?
Oats are not good. They are not very good post workout.
It's better.
Especially when you're intending to burn fat.
Ah.
They are not so good.
Okay. So preferably before,
Yeah, you can take oats before, but when we are doing a fat loss regimen, I tend to ask people to avoid the foods that are very high in carbohydrates.
Carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let us focus on foods that have
High
very low amounts of carbohydrates, like arrowroots,
arrowroots,
sweet potatoes,
sweet potato.
matoke, green bananas,
Okay.
butternut,
Ah.
malenge. Yes.
Sawa. So let's move to fat loss. When you're practicing fat loss and you want to maintain the same amount of muscle,
Yes.
a lot of people get it wrong. You're in a fat loss, but you end up losing muscle,
Yes.
which will be again so difficult to put in.
Yes.
So how do you manage that?
Number one,
Uh,
a high protein diet.
uh-huh.
Extremely high protein diet. When we are doing fat loss, there are 3 things that I recommend for fat loss. Number one, it's calorie deficit.
Calorie deficit.
Yes.
Uh,
Calorie deficits, your BMR calories are the number of calories that you burn in a day. Yes, depending on your age, physical activity,
how active you are.
everything, and So if you subtract maybe 500 calories from that, that's the water deficit is. I know we'll get to that.
We'll get to that
in detail. Number one is calorie deficit. Number two, compound movements. You conduct those movements that activate the most
muscle
muscles
fibers
in the body.
Okay.
Like a movement like a squat, bent over row,
Deadlift,
lunges, deadlift. Those are movements that activate so many muscles in the body.
Okay.
So
Facilitates.
they demand energy.
Okay.
Now you're on a calorie deficit, and you are working out in a way that your body is demanding more energy. Where is that energy going to come from? From the fat stores that you've stored.
Okay.
Yes. So number 3, steady state cardio.
Steady state cardio. What does it mean?
Yes.
Post workout. After your workout.
Yes.
Basically. How
Steady
long?
state-
How
maybe
long should it
10, you can walk on the treadmill for up to 20 minutes.
be?
Just put a speed like 6 and maybe incline it up to 50%. Then you just walk.
Just
20
walk.
minutes.
Okay.
Do that 3 to 5 times in a week.
It's effective.
It's very effective with fat loss.
Okay.
Yes. Number 4, maybe we can do high intensity interval training.
Every day or once in a while?
That one you can do once in a while. Or
Once-
maybe,
or maybe
if
once a week.
you want to work to exercise your cardiovascular system, your heart, your lungs, you can engage in high heat. Maybe the first 10 minutes once you get to the gym.
Okay.
You can consider it as a warm-up and as a way of burning fat, because normally when you are doing cardio, when you're walking on that treadmill, you're burning calories. But doesn't mean those calories are coming from the fat stores that you've stored. They could be coming from the glycogen that's in your cells.
True.
So you're burning calories, but I do not guarantee you that you will be burning fat at that moment. Immediately you stop that treadmill, you stop burning calories. That's why cardio workout is like below there when it comes to the recommendations for fat loss.
But anytime.
But when you do the compound movements, your muscle burns fat up to 48 hours later. The anaerobic respiration.
Okay.
Yes. Anaerobic means, fat loss process means your body is using up the fat without the need for oxygen.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
It's burning fat without the need for you having to like breathe and
Panting,
That's why we have aerobics. The aerobics that you train people. During that time, they are burning fat, but they are burning glucose, but they need the oxygen
to burn.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's
but
aerobic. Anaerobics when you're
this
sleeping,
is where,
but you did leg day yesterday. Your leg still burning fat. Yeah.
Because of the more muscles you have, right?
Well, of course, the muscles are the ones that burn fat. And the muscles have that action of burning fat up to 48 hours after activation.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, that's really nice. So you've mentioned calorie deficit and there's also calorie surplus.
Yes.
Maybe you can we can define that and explain to our audience what it really means by calorie deficit and calorie surplus.
Yes. So a calorie. Let us begin there. Calorie, if you remember in high school. A calorie is a unit of energy. Yeah, usually measured in is it joules or is it kilojoules? Yeah.
Kilojoules, yeah.
It's a unit of energy that is required to increase the temperature of a molecule of water by 1 degree centigrade. So now that's just the underlying basics of the fundamentals of the calories. But when it comes to fitness, calories is basically what you're eating. What are you eating? And what is your body, what is fueling your body throughout the day? Calories are basically what fuels you like throughout the day. It's like the charge you put on your phone. Your phone maybe has a battery that can store charge up to 3000 mAh. Now, if you were to sit down and considering your age, how much physical activity you're doing, height in centimeters, weight in kg, we can calculate how much we need to charge you every day so that you can sustain your activity, you can sustain your brain activity, you can sustain your vision, speaking, even these movements that I'm doing.
Body movements.
Yes, they are called NEAT, non-essential something. Those are movements that you do. They are not necessarily workout, but they also contribute to...
They need energy.
Yeah, they contribute fuel, to burning, Even your brain takes up to, I don't know if it's 20 or 30% of the calories that you take. Even the action of thinking and processing everything in your brain, it requires calories. But the good thing when they are calculating, they put all that into consideration.
Okay.
So calories is basically how much energy you need in a day to push you through your activities that you undertake.
Okay.
You see? And everybody has their unique calories depending on what I just told you. Their age, their weight in kg, their height in centimeters, and the physical activity they engage in. Maybe some go to the gym for 4 days a week, 3 days a week. Some are sedentary. They are lazy. They just sit around, maybe work in the office, work all day. When you're calculating someone's calories, you have to consider all that.
Okay.
Yes. So if we took Vince and we made a copy of you, we put one Vince in an office, working all day on the keyboard, and we have Vince who goes to the gym, works out, and is training people out there. The Vince who goes to the gym needs more energy than the sedentary
one who's seated,
Vince. Yes.
So calorie expenditure, calorie intake.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, when you are intending to bulk in size, you have to charge your body more than you need so that eventually it can have a surplus so that it can store. And remember, your body stores two things, the calories, in form of glycogen, in form of fat.
Okay.
But remember, these calories are also coming from proteins. So you'll be having a large amount of proteins that maybe you are intaking. So your body also, through workout, it stimulates your muscles to store more protein.
Okay.
And your muscle can only store protein in the form of converting it into skeletal muscle. That's how you grow in muscles. Yes. If you go to the fundamentals of muscle formation, at the core of your muscle is a cell that is called myosin. You see? You've ever heard of something called myofibrils? Yes. So myofibrils are like a chain of proteins connected together with fibers or something. So every time you work out, you tear those fibers and everything.
Okay.
Every time they are repaired, now you've torn one and we have repaired. So we have made it longer, probably made it thicker, and that's how muscles grow.
Okay.
Yeah. Put the muscle under stress, give it a lot of protein, a calorie surplus. Now, through workout, your muscle, the instructions from your growth hormone will prompt the muscle to store more protein. And that's how you grow in hypertrophy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
a calorie surplus. That's what we spoke about when it comes to fat loss. Calorie deficit, sorry.
Calorie deficit.
Yes. So if we calculate the number of calories you need in a day, let's say it's 3,000.
3,000. Actually, it's 3,200.
Yes. And we want you to
shred.
maybe
Oh.
get toned. People like saying the word get toned. I like speaking the language that people understand. Yes. Basically, it's recomposing your body. Burning more fat while retaining the muscle. What do we do? So from the 3,200, we put you on a deficit. We subtract 500. Now, this 500, we are going to make sure the 350 comes from your diet, and then we increase the intensity of your workout. Now, that's where the 150 will be coming from.
Okay.
So we increase the intensity of your workout. We demand more calories from you, while we are limiting the number of calories on the other end of your diet. The ones the calorie in. Yes. So that way, your body will be having a deficit of 500. But remember, your body is engineered to burn 3,200 calories. If you deplete it of calories, 500, it doesn't mean it won't burn.
Without eating the 3,200?
With or without burning, it will still burn the 3,200.
Okay.
Now, where is the 500 that we created a deficit going to come from? The fats. Stocks. Yes. That's when your body, after you're working out, when you're sleeping or you're in a rested state, now your body instructs your adipose. There are receptors, there are some beta-3 receptors on the adipose tissue, the ones that you have stored in your body. Now tells it, okay, we have some deficit, we need to fill here. So kindly release those triglycerides in the blood. They go to the liver, converted back to glucose. Now they are stored, ready to be fired up because they'll still be burnt. Okay. Because your body will still burn 3,200 even with the deficit.
Okay.
Yeah. You do that today, tomorrow, the other day. That way 1 month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's now when you start seeing the definition, now separation on your muscles because
the deficit.
Yeah, you see if you had a big belly, it's now starting to become down. Small because now you're burning fat. You do that for a year, 2 years, and you'll be a different beast.
Okay.
Calorie deficit. Yes.
Now we go to calorie surplus.
Now, calorie surplus, I already explained. Yes. You eat in an excess of what, now you require 3,200. But now you want to see bigger wins maybe by August. So what do?
We add 500.
We add 500 to the 3,200.
3,200.
Yes.
Okay.
So after you work out, you do everything. Remember, your body only needed the 3,200. So
meaning,
where is the extra 500 going to be? It has to be stored somewhere.
Okay. So even if I eat 4,000,
yes,
the body will only burn 32.
Yes. The body will always burn the calories that is designed to burn. Yes.
Okay.
So if you're eating in a surplus, it will store it. So if you took the surplus, you majorly pushed it towards the carbohydrates. That's how you become fat. But if you pushed your surplus towards the proteins and the good fat, you gain muscle. You become muscular. You understand? Yes.
I understand.
When you are on a calorie deficit, I focus on making the deficit, the bulk of it, I eject it from the carbohydrates. Probably retain the proteins. The amount of proteins that I'll be giving you when you're on a calorie surplus, on a calorie deficit, it's almost the same.
Okay.
So that make sure even if you are losing fat, your muscles are still going to remain the same.
Okay.
Yes. But if I want you to gain more muscle, I'll make sure I'm putting you on a calorie surplus, but I am adding the amount of protein you're eating, not the carbohydrates.
Okay.
Yes. If I add the amount of carbohydrates you're eating, you'll start seeing your abs disappearing. You start seeing the definition on your muscles disappearing because you're growing fat now.
Okay.
Because the calorie surplus that you're having is majorly from carbohydrates, and carbohydrates can only be stored in form of glycogen or fat. Yes. So,
for a normal person,
yes,
who doesn't work out as much, maybe the best workout they can do is walking or working out once a week. Maybe because of their busy schedule, and they want to understand how much protein, carbohydrates, and fats or veggies they can take in a day. What would you recommend? Just a normal person, not an athlete,
yes,
and not active as Vince or Anto,
Mm-hmm.
these guys are, let's say, busy in the office most
Yes.
of the time,
Yes.
and they are looking to, maybe the best time they can work out,
Mm-hmm.
the maximum time, let's
Yes.
say 30 minutes, and it's
How many times a week?
twice or even once.
Mm-hmm.
So that person is looking to like control
Mm-hmm.
weight control. They're trying to control their weight.
Mm-hmm.
They are really squeezing their time to be able to work out.
Mm-hmm.
So they are wondering, what can I work? What can I do? At least on my end, eating. I put my eating in. I master my eating
Yes.
so that even if I'll be able to work out, fat loss will be
Still
easier.
be ongoing.
Yeah,
So the first thing I recommend to people who are unable to work out for many times in a week and for long, I recommend something called OMAD, 1 meal a day.
1 meal a day.
Yes.
That's more of like IF, intermittent fasting.
Oh, well,
Or
you could say so. Yeah,
Okay.
you could say so because intermittent fasting is basically periodic eating.
Periodic.
Yeah. So the first thing I recommend to people who do not normally find enough time to work out and they still need to remain in shape. OMAD, 1 meal a day. Secondly, autophagy. Autophagy basically means fasting.
Okay.
Fasting 24 hours, 48 hours. If you are strong, you can go up to 72 hours.
And is it sustainable for a prolonged
Fasting is the secret to longevity. It's another secret to longevity.
Okay.
We touched on the longevity on the other podcast. One of the secrets to longevity is fasting.
It's fasting.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because fasting is fasting is like performing a miracle.
Oh.
People who fast, they tend to have very high amounts of growth hormone. They tend to have very high amounts of energy. It's like most of the time they are getting their energy from fat. Ketones.
Stored.
Yes. We'll touch on that later.
Okay.
Stored fat. Ketones. Ketones is a very good alternative as a source of energy for your body because it doesn't have, it's like a clean energy for your body. You understand? It doesn't have so much can I call it, the byproducts. Also it's like you have, when you go to Shell, you have the normal fuel for like petrol unleaded, and you have the one that you call, what do they call it?
V-Power. Yeah, V-Power.
Yes, now ketones is like V-Power. V-Power cleans your engine. So it as it powers your vehicle, it also cleans your engine of oil and everything and
This
blah,
happens
blah,
when
blah.
you're fasting.
Yes, so when you're fasting, you clean your body of disease.
Okay.
You clean your body of depression, everything.
Extra fats.
Fasting can cure you of depression.
Oh.
You know, there was somewhere I saw on while I was doing my research. There was a guy who decided he was so depressed, so he decided, now I'm going to commit suicide. But I'm not going to jump off a building. I'm not going to stand in front of a vehicle. I'm going to starve myself to death. Day one, so he locked himself in a room. Day one, day two, still depressed. By day three, the guy started getting better. By the second week, he was up and running back to his even better lifestyle. The depression was done. He had clear thought processes. He had clarity of thought. He had that tranquility and calmness and satisfaction with life. You see? Okay. So fasting
is recommended.
Intermittent fasting. That is something everyone
should practice quite often.
Everyone should practice.
Okay.
Me included. Yes.
So at any given point you don't lose muscle while fasting?
Well, while fasting, I'm for sure you will
lose some muscle.
You lose some muscles.
Water.
Yes, but when you're fasting, your body tends to release hormones like glucocorticoids and cortisol. Those are stress hormones.
Yeah.
Yes.
To release them,
Yes, it releases them in the body. So at some point, your body will lose that muscle. So that's why if we don't want someone losing so much muscle, we recommend OMAD. And that one meal can be like 2 avocados, maybe 6 eggs, and maybe broccoli. No carbohydrates. Yes.
Okay. 1
You
meal.
get, because of course the broccoli will give you carbohydrates. Vegetables. I told you the other day, vegetables are just carbohydrates with fiber. But they are very good sources of carbohydrates.
Okay.
If one would engineer their diet in such a way that they are getting their starch from vegetables, they drop the wheat, they drop the whole grain, they drop everything. It will be so fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about fasting.
And they don't have so much carbohydrates. They have like, you find like cabbages, spinach, they have like 16 grams for every 100 gram serving. They have 16 grams of carbohydrates. So basically when you're eating a diet that's like meat, spinach, and maybe avocado, that's basically a keto diet.
Okay.
Yes, because a keto diet is anytime you're putting your carbohydrates maybe at 20% or below. Yes.
What's your take?
So with I even forgot what was the question. It was about someone who is intending to retain their muscle.
So you said OMAD and
OMAD and intermittent fasting.
So OMAD is 1 meal a day.
Yes.
Or
just 1 meal a day.
1 meal a day.
Period. Yes.
Okay.
You can be taking your meal at maybe 4 p.m. every day. The other times you can take something like brewed coffee, of course sugarless, no milk.
Okay.
Yes. You can take your... Some people normally have prepared something called sauerkraut. It's basically fermented cabbage.
Okay.
Yes.
It will also fasten the metabolism.
Fermented cabbage is medicine. Very good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Oh.
You should get a jar of like 2 liters or so and go like ferment cabbages there and go watch on YouTube how sauerkraut is prepared. That's medicine.
So
it has a lot of vitamin C.
Okay.
Your immunity shoots up.
So you can replace with water.
You can never replace water.
So you have to drink water.
You have to hydrate. Of course, when you're fasting, you have to hydrate. 1
meal a day, you'll be
hydrating. You'll be hydrating with water. Drink your coffee. Drink the right things, of course.
Okay.
If you can prepare cabbage juice. Cabbage juice is also medicine.
Okay.
Yes. It restructures your gut biome and everything, and it makes sure everything is intact in your gut.
Okay.
Yes, so you digest food very well. You avoid diseases like H. pylori. I don't know why people go to treat H. pylori. H. pylori is not a disease. H. pylori is something that has been in our gut for over 55,000 years. Your ancestors, their ancestors, they had it. So why is it all of a sudden once you go to the hospital with some gut problem, they do endless tests? Of course, they're milking your insurance card. Then they give you tons of medicine. They tell you have H. pylori. Do you know H. pylori is something you can reset using your diet? Cabbage juice, sauerkraut, taking apple cider vinegar.
Every morning.
Yeah, just a teaspoon.
Yeah.
Yes. H. pylori is not a disease. H. pylori is our friend. We are more bacteria than flesh. Yes. Okay. So feed your bacteria with the right information, the right food. You'll be okay. So OMAD, intermittent fasting, and of course I said autophagy.
Autophagy, yeah.
Yes, autophagy is you can fast up to... There are some guys, and my friend, there's Amerix, you know him from Twitter. He leads a team of guys who fast up to 72 hours. Bro, do you know what it means to like you're surviving on water and coffee for 72 hours? Man, those guys are just magicians. I can't do what they do.
Doing an extra mile.
72 hours, bro. You're not eating for 72 hours. If I don't eat for 6 hours, even right now, I'm very hungry because my food is in the vehicle and I'm just thinking about it. Those guys, that's something they do and I respect it. Yes.
Okay.
And anyone who is serious in fitness, especially people who are overweight and they intend to cut their weight, they should probably subscribe to Amerix group and maybe follow what they're doing. They're doing the right thing. Yes.
So, Anto, there's been a lot of argument about animal protein and plant protein.
Yes.
Which one is the most complete? And there have been so many questions. I've seen people who decide to go vegan for a period of time without meat, and then they revert back after some time.
Yes.
what do you think about animal protein and plant protein?
So,
And which one is the most complete? For sure.
Let me put it this way. Let us begin from our ancestors. The other time I told you, our ancestors used to be hunters and gatherers. They used to eat a paleo diet, Paleolithic diet, a diet that people have been eating 2.5 to maybe 100 million years ago. Basically a hunter and a gatherer. Meat and eggs. And they used to survive on that. Do you know the way people have been preaching, eat vegetables, eat vegetables, eat vegetables? You know, vegetables have been popularized just some years ago. They were never even in people's diets. Yes. The way you see people planting tracts of land of sukuma wiki and spinach, it was not that available. It was hard to find those vegetables.
Okay.
Yes. You see? So people used to survive on basically boiling meat, hunting and gathering. Hunting meat and gathering eggs. So, for years, our DNA has been fed animal protein.
For so long.
And it has been surviving and evolving through harsh times and everything. So, then came these people who started saying, oh, climate change being caused by animals. Oh, you are eating an animal and maybe it is an uncle somewhere. Oh, and now they started saying, let us spare those animals because they have a carbon footprint. I don't know they are saying what. Do you know the current temperature of the world? There are some people who went and dug ice up to ice that is like 55,000 years old. And they measured the temperature. There's a way they measure the temperature of the ice that is 55,000 years ago. They estimated that the current ice that is on the polar and that one that is 55,000 years old. The ice that is 55,000 years old is 2 degrees warmer than the ice that we have at the moment. Meaning, the current temperatures that we have, we are 2 degrees lower than the way the Earth was 55,000 years ago. So, one thing is climate change. Climate change is a scam. Anytime there's branding something, selling, even looking for ambassadors, Greta Thunberg, that kid who talks about climate change every time. Man, Andrew Tate the other day asked, since when did we start listening to kids? So, people have tweaked information and they're now branding it because they know if you carbon footprint, climate change, it will sell. So, that's the same thing they're doing with the vegan diet. Saying animals are causing carbon footprint. Animals, they're causing inflammation. I don't refuse. Anything you put in your mouth causes inflammation. Even the good fat, the holy Hail Mary olive oil, causes inflammation because it has to be digested. You see?
Yeah.
But we have to be getting the inflammation from the good foods, not the bad foods. So now they turned to plant protein. And now the problem with plant protein is that we do not have the same DNA with plants.
Okay.
So you could be taking beans and beef. They have approximately the same amount of protein. We take one beans, we feed him with beans for a whole year. We get another beans, we feed him with beef a whole year. The beans that we fed with beef will be more muscular. He'll be expressing muscle more than the beans who is taking beans. Because of the bioavailability of the protein. The animal protein is more bioavailable. Like it's being bioavailable, it's ready for use by your body. Your body can easily take it and adapt it into its system, its structure of muscles, than the plant protein.
Okay.
So the uptake of the plant protein is a bit lower than the animal protein. So if I were told to choose one, of course I'll take animal protein. Yeah, animal protein any day. But if someone wants to go the vegan way for their own reasons, I respect that. And I cannot speak for them.
True.
But for people who take meat and eggs, let's go, man. Just make sure you're getting 1 kg of meat and 10 eggs every day. True. You'll be okay.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, does our type, we have 3 body types, the ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph.
Yes.
Do they affect how we gain fat and muscle?
Not really. That's just gym bro science.
Huh?
It's gym bro science.
Because
It's like an excuse.
it's an excuse.
Yes.
Now we can talk.
Yeah.
We can talk.
It's like an excuse.
But there's always something you can work around it, right?
You see the fundamentals of building muscle, losing fat, losing water, gaining water.
Gaining muscle.
They are the
Gaining
same across
fat.
all humans. Yes.
Okay.
You ever hear people say, that person is fat because they come from a lineage of fat people? That's an excuse. Yes, you're fat because you're eating the wrong foods.
True.
Yes.
Very true.
So, those body types are there and they were created and they used to categorize people. They call someone, a hard gainer. Skinny. They are called TOEFL. Thin on the outside, fat on the inside. They are thin, they are skinny, and they have a fatty liver. Well, those things are there. They exist. But basing your how much muscle you can put or how much fat you can burn
on your body
the
type.
ectomorph, no, that's just
That's excuse.
It's an excuse, man. Yeah, we need to have the right information out there.
True.
Of course, there are people who are hard gainers. I can't refuse, but being a hard gainer means basically your metabolism is up.
Is high.
Yes. Maybe your metabolism is high because your thyroid hormone, you're hyperthyroidic. Or maybe you tend to maintain your body at very high temperatures.
Okay.
Yes. It's called the thermogenic milieu. Yes. Okay. How hot is your body? Yes. Do you see people tend to look like those people who have to make a certain weight, like boxers, UFC guys?
UFC.
They have to make a certain weight by a certain date. Do you normally see them? They are wrapped in like on a paper nylon, and then it is being heated. Hot air is being put inside there.
Like every day in the evening.
Yes, and then like there for 30 minutes. Thermogenic milieu. Subjecting your body under very high temperature so that it can lose fat by the thermogenic process.
Okay.
Yes. Thermogenic fat burning. Yeah. Thermogenic fat burning, okay. It's a good way of losing fat, but not the most efficient. Yeah. Okay. I prefer losing fat by the anaerobic respiration.
Okay.
Yes. Losing fat 24 up to 48 hours after working out.
So body type doesn't interfere with gain or lose?
No, bro. It doesn't. That's just a categorization of bodies.
Okay.
But they do not tend to determine how much muscle you put on or how fast you can burn fat or it doesn't determine those characteristics.
Okay,
we can categorize you people as that and that, but we cannot. But the fundamentals of muscle gain, weight loss, blah blah blah, similar across all bodies.
Okay. Yes. Good.
Yeah.
So Anto, we have recently or lately we have so many issues of obesity, weight gain, and everything.
Yes.
And a lot of people, they're not, they don't want to be patient enough to maybe work on their diet for a long time and join a gym or a fitness center. They are turning to gastric bypass, lipo. What's your take on the gastric bypass, the lipo? Because the side effects are not good. The ones I've had.
Yes.
It is not something I'll recommend to my client.
For sure.
Definitely.
Yes.
Especially like the gastric balloon. It limits you from eating. Yes. Like you cannot, if you eat right now, you'll not be able to drink even water.
Yeah.
In the next few minutes.
I saw they really reduce the size of the stomach.
Then your body responds in being dry. You lack enough water in the body.
Yes, you are dehydrated.
You are dehydrated.
Yes.
You're always dehydrated, actually. So what's your take on lipo and...
Those are very lazy procedures of attaining your body goals. I know people have money. They can access those procedures. The clinics that offer those procedures are all over. You see them advertising everything. Probably by now Google has been. I know this shit listens to every time. You have talked about bariatric surgery. Yeah. I know I'll be receiving now adverts on my Instagram feed guys they listen to us every time. So they are all over Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, and they have even ambassadors who sell the results. Yeah, there was a time when that surgery was not so common. They will take these fat women. Well, how are they called? Those kina Rispa Faith and what are they called? Those women?
Influencers.
Not influencers. They have a funny name.
Socialite.
Yes. Those
Socialite.
are there's socialites. They sell a lifestyle that is untrue. You see? So they will take those fat women, take them through the procedure of like liposuction. They are there filming the whole thing. It's true. The machines will suck the fat from you. They will probably give you they will do spot. It's called spot reduction of fat. You want to lose fat on your belly? You lose fat on your belly. That's the closest that people have come to spot reduction of fat. Okay, but after those surgeries, do you change your habits? Do you change the way you still fed? Do you change the way you used to snack? Do you change the kind of foods you're eating? No, they don't.
They don't change.
Those machines do not change your habits. They do not change the things that you did that got you there in the first place, that made you fat.
You've not stopped.
Yes. So even after those surgeries, people tend to regain back all that fat.
So meaning the most sustainable thing to do is just
go to the gym, make weight loss / fat loss a lifestyle. Bariatric surgery. So they use pins to reduce the upper part of your stomach, and then they create a bypass of the pouch that they've just created to the jejunum, the upper part of the small intestines. They create a bypass all the way. So you now have a very small stomach that you're taking maybe 30 grams of food, as you have said, can't even take water. And it has a bypass all the way to the upper part of the small intestines. So they're reducing the amount of food you're eating. They're creating a bypass to your small intestines. Now you're not even absorbing the food because food is majorly absorbed in your small intestines.
True.
So first of all, those procedures, they make you unhealthy because you're not getting the nutrition that you're supposed to be getting. You see? So by default, you will lose weight. You lose like your bone density. You will be losing everything because you're not getting enough calcium. You're not getting enough protein. You're not getting enough minerals. You're not getting enough everything. So the procedure will give you the cosmetic appeal. It will say, okay, that guy received some bariatric surgery and he now looks in shape. But over time, it will now start making you look sickly.
True.
Yes. So it's not a very good, it's not a very, I will not call it a, can we call it a shortcut?
It's a shortcut.
Yeah. It's a shortcut and a very lazy one.
Yeah, it's a shortcut.
I know people are rich, they can spend their money however they feel like. But going through those procedures is not the best way to get in their best shape.
True.
Yes. If you are going through that procedure, maybe liposuction, you also need to get a coach. You can come to Vince and they can help you change your habits.
True.
Of course.
Yeah. Eating habits, from eating habits.
Yeah.
Training
and everything.
Yeah.
Otherwise, waste of time, waste of money.
Yeah.
Waste of life because eventually it will catch up with you. Yes.
So, Anto, you mentioned about intermittent fasting.
Yes.
So, I'd like us to discuss about keto diet and paleo diet. You say that's what our forefathers used to do.
Yes.
So, paleo and keto
and intermittent.
They seem to be a lot of guys in the USA, UK, they are really adapting well to paleo diet and keto. It's working for them.
Yeah.
And they're saying it is sustainable. Yes. I've seen people who've reversed diabetes.
Yeah, those diets.
So many conditions.
Those diets, the paleo diet. The paleo diet is the diet that Amerix uses to reverse those conditions, lifestyle conditions.
Overweight,
diabetes,
hypertension.
hypertension. Even these gastric conditions, even the H. pylori, go to paleo diet.
Research actually has mentioned to be one of the most effective diets.
Yes. If I were to choose between paleo and keto, I would go for paleo. It's called the caveman diet.
The caveman diet.
Yes.
What does it consist, the paleo diet?
The paleo diet consists of foods that were eaten 2.5 million, 2.5 to 10,000 or 20,000, 100,000 years ago. They are foods that were basically from hunting and gathering. Those they consist of meat, they consist of fruits, they consist of eggs, they consist of some vegetables, or some vegetables, because vegetables were not as readily available.
Also, paleo has low carbohydrate, right?
No, paleo, there were no carbs, and if there were carbs, there were tubers. And there was starch, only starch. They were very limited.
Okay.
Yes.
And keto?
So with keto, it's basically there is carbs. And you see with paleo, there were not things like dairies. You know, dairies started the dairy industry boomed during the World War. Yeah.
Okay.
The dairy industry boomed during the World War because it's only through milk that those Nazis and those soldiers were able to sustain their nutrition while in the trenches. So now, after the World War, they started wondering, now, we created an industry to sustain our soldiers during the war. Now we have these structures. How do we go about it? Because we can't just shut them down. That is when they sold the idea of milk to people.
Okay.
Yeah. I told you last time, and I'll continue telling you. Milk, you buy pasteurized milk, the ones I bought 2 cartons yesterday in the convenience store, and I was just buying them because do you see those things that you buy and you're like, this is trash, but I'll buy it anyway.
For the sake of the family.
Yes. Sometimes you buy them for the sake of the family. You'll find that I bought them, but yet I went home and brewed coffee. Actually, I brewed coffee yesterday before I slept. Just coffee. Just threw coffee in water, boiled it, and took it with some 350 grams of meat. That's what I took before I slept.
Okay.
Yes. So I bought milk, but I'm not taking it.
Okay.
Yes. So milk that's something that people take for dopamine. Do you see when you're putting something in your mouth, there are 2 events. There is a nutrition event and there is a dopamine event. A nutrition event is when you're taking the right food. Protein, fats, carbohydrates on the low. A dopamine event is when you're snacking. When you're snacking, you're looking for something to satisfy your cravings. You see? And when you take that snack, that biscuit, that mandazi, of course you'll become fat. And it makes you feel good. It gives you that event of dopamine reuptake, because dopamine is always freely roaming from your blood. Now it goes, you take that kamandazi, it's so sweet, that biscuit, that tea with sugar, and you feel so good. That's a dopamine event.
Okay.
And now the problem is dopamine events do not have nutritional rewards. And probably people should avoid them, but we'll come to that later. So what are you talking about?
So we're talking about paleo and keto.
So the similarities of course, paleo and keto, they are almost similar diet because they emphasize.
One is high fat and high protein. The other one is...
No, you cannot approach it from that angle. The paleo diet, do you know keto diet? Keto diet allows things like whole grain, but paleo diet does not allow whole grain.
Whole grain.
Yes.
Okay.
Like oats. Talked about oats. I know you like oats.
Yeah.
With keto, you can take oats, but with paleo, you can't take oats. You see? So let's approach it from the angle of the kind of foods that are taken in that specific diet, and their both diets, their outcomes are almost like similar. We get to ketosis.
They're both effective, eh?
Yes, we get to ketosis by the end of the day. Ketosis is where you get your energy sources from fat. Yes.
Okay.
But both diets emphasize lots of protein, good fat. Keto diet will allow some whole grain and maybe because during the Paleolithic period, grains were not. No one was farming, so grains were not common. So they are not available for the paleo diet. But with keto, it can allow up to 20% of maybe carbohydrates, and you can get that from oats. You see, but now the problem with keto is not. It's not sustainable and it's not enjoyable. I normally get to keto diet for 2 weeks and I'm like, it's terrible, man. Keto diet will give you cravings. It will give you all hell of things, but and it's a diet that you feel like coming off of it. But with paleo diet, you have with time you can manage your cravings, you can manage your moods and everything. But both diets are very good when it comes to giving you the clarity of thought and of course correcting your mood. I would say they are both good diets. If I were told to choose the best diet, I will go with paleo diet. Both diets can reverse lifestyle conditions, and I feel I will give a tick on both.
Okay.
Yes, but I will lean more towards the paleo
diet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you manage? A lot of people suffer from cravings. What is the main cause of cravings?
Yes.
And how do you manage cravings? And what causes cravings?
Now, the main cause of cravings.
I remember there's a day you asked me about, I don't know, I told you I'm withdrawing something, and you asked me about, you don't get cravings? And I told you no. You remember?
Yeah, well,
the other day, I don't remember what we were talking about. So, what causes cravings?
Yeah.
How do you control cravings?
As I mentioned, cravings are basically what your body needs. And your brain feels that it needs it. And so it has a way of telling you, like, if I'm craving sugar, and of course you are seeing the things that are around your environment, so your brain will tell you, get that sugar from that bread. So it will push you towards wanting to take a slice or two of bread. If you don't have it in the house, you'll go outside there looking for it.
Wow.
So cravings are basically what your body needs. The things that it is lacking, and it expresses them in the form of like, I want it, and I want it now. So with cravings, it's a neurological event.
Okay.
It originates from your brain. Yes. Of course, anything from your brain is a feedback mechanism from your body, what your body is lacking. Okay. It's like when that time pregnant women, they want to eat those stones because they are lacking maybe, is it iron or is it what?
Iron, maybe.
And
some
then
calcium.
They know now, if I eat that monyo, it's called monyo, they will get that. And that's why you see pregnant women going to buy that. Because you have lived long enough and you have the knowledge that pregnant women eat those. So if your brain lacks
and it works for them.
Yeah, if your brain lacks it, it will of course direct you to get that. Yeah. Okay. The beauty of the brain knows what it lacks and it knows where to get it from. So it only needs you to instruct you. You will get that nutrient I'm lacking from that food over there. So you go and get it. And the cravings they are not nutritional events. They don't give you so much nutrition. And they tend to give more satisfaction.
Okay.
The dopamine. The dopamine is what gives you satisfaction after you've done something. Yes.
How do you work around it? A craving?
Cravings. Man, you just have to ignore them.
Really? So, like, for instance, you can have a craving of sugar.
Yeah.
So, it's advisable if, instead of taking that sugar, why don't you take an apple?
Now, when you substitute the
instead of ignoring...
You see, I'm telling you craving is a dopamine event. If you substitute if your brain knows, I'm going to get that sugar from the sugar that you put in tea, and you eat an apple, you will still continue craving that sugar. It's a dopamine event, and it's very neurological.
Okay.
Yes. So you will still...
Is there a way to manage cravings?
With cravings, let me tell you one thing. When we are preparing for bodybuilding competitions, week 1, week 2, up to week 4, we normally have to manage cravings like crazy. Like right now, I'm eating wheat at exponential rates. I can't refuse. I'm guilty as fuck. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm taking a lot of wheat right now. Even yesterday, there was a time this week my son had constipation. Constipation is an event where you have gone for more than 72 hours without taking a dump. Now that's constipation.
Okay.
So my son went up 1 to 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And I was like asking, has this guy taken a poop of late? No. Once we tell him to go to take a poop, he's feeling it's painful, so he doesn't want to push through the process. I had to look for a medicine to ease up something, to ease up the stool movement, so that he can, so that he can take a poop. So, I told my wife, no, I think the wheat, we are taking too much wheat. This guy is basically taking wheat and snacking in the house. And he's not playing enough, not getting that playful activity, because he's in holidays and the kids are not, the other kids, they're in CBC and he's from an international curriculum. So they have not closed school yet. I guess they're closing this week. So I told my wife, let's make sure there's no bread in the house. Coincidentally, my cooker just spoiled the other day as I was baking some banana bread. Hey bro, stayed Monday, no bread. Tuesday you are like, hey.
I feel like eating bread.
Something is missing.
I feel like eating bread.
Now I was in my contacts looking for the guy to fix my cooker now. By the time I was coming from the gym on Tuesday, doing leg day, I found my wife had already bought some bread, and she was like, hey man, I feel so good. I have bread in the house. I feel so good. So your brain knows what it is lacking. It knows where to get it from. And even if you try to substitute, it will still tell you no. You ate an apple, yes, I approve. But no, you're going to get that sugar from putting it into the tea.
So the best way?
With cravings, do not substitute.
Okay.
Yes.
Ignore.
Just ignore them. When we prepare for competitions, like, I know this time I'm going to have it rough. Because I've been used to eating wheat all the time. But so I'll just cold turkey it, like drop it, poop, and ignore it. And tell my wife I don't want to see wheat in the house, because if I see it, now I'll start thinking about it. Yes.
Okay.
So with cravings, just ignore them. It's like you're training your brain to now do without it. You ignore once, twice, your brain will now be like, oh,
it's not
I know I need it, but this guy doesn't seem like he's going to take that apple anytime soon. So let me look for some other activity to focus on. So it takes its focus off the cravings, yes, and maybe focuses on something else.
Okay.
So just train your brain to ignore the cravings. Yes.
So our audience, if you've been experiencing cravings, that's one way to manage cravings. Ignore and think about something else. If you've been wondering the difference between weight loss and fat loss, now you know. Please work with fat loss than weight loss.
Yeah, if you do fat loss, you automatically lose weight.
Yeah.
So you get one in front of the other.
Exactly. And fat loss is the most healthy and beneficial way to lose weight as opposed to the other one. So as you approach to lose fat, please make healthy choices.
Yes.
Think about your body. It's about you. Don't think about now. It's what you need right now. It's about your future and something sustainable. Choose the right kind of foods to eat. And thank you so much for listening. Anto, where can our listeners find you online?
As usual, Instagram Gachau_Njoroge, Twitter @Anto Gachau. From there you will get my personal contact if you wish to get some up close one-on-one consultation. Yes. I normally like doing coaching. Yes, for the training I leave it to you because I know you're the best.
Okay.
But for coaching, that's where I come in.
So in case you need a coach, Anto Gachau is always there, flexible. Reach out and he can help you. So thank you so much for listening. For any questions or any topics you think we can discuss, kindly write them down on the comment section or DM through our Instagram pages, and we'll get back to you. We'll find a way to discuss those topics. Thank you so much for listening. See you on the next one.
Bye-bye.
This show was recorded and produced at Represented Studio in Nairobi, Kenya.